Good evening. What you're about to see is a presentation of the history of the American flag. Our purpose in presenting this to you is educational and communicative so that you too can understand what our country has evolved through and some of the different renditions that flag has taken since our very first Revolutionary War days through all of our battles for freedom and justice to today's flag. The reason this program was put together was that the Knights of Columbus, 4th degree, were in parades holding flags and marching with all the other entrants in the community festivals, and they noticed as they carried the American flag that there was a difference in how people responded to it. The older generation would tend to stand, take off their hat, put their hand over their heart, be silent, or if they were military oriented, they would salute. The younger generation, on the other hand, would stay in their seats, would keep their hats on, wouldn't necessarily salute or put their hand over their heart. They were courteous, but they didn't really recognize the flag as it came by. When they talked to friends about that, they found out it wasn't really that there was a less amount of respect or courteous or patriotism, but they hadn't really been trained on what the true etiquette was to act and how to act when the flag was in your presence. So the Knights' theme is actually patriotism, and Tom Schemmel, who was one of the original Knights that marched in the parade, talked to a friend of his, Stan Sipple, and they decided to put together a program. Stan Sipple wrote the script for the program, and Tom would be the narrator, and they found yet another Knight of Columbus, John Spitznagel, who happened to have a collection of antique American flags. So they put the three together and put together the presentation with the hopes that they could go to grade schools and middle schools and civic groups and share with those folks the patriotism that they felt by educating them about the history of the American flag. So you will see that presentation as we go through. From the very beginning, you'll hear the stories behind each flag, and you'll see how the flag evolved from different sizes and different emblems to what we have today. It's really a history of our country, emblematic and signified by the flag. But in summary of that, we'll also show you the meaning of when the flag is raised and when the flag is lowered and why. And when they are done with the flag isn't just draped somewhere, it's folded, and each fold of the flag has a meaning as well. So it's really steeped in history of our country, and there is meaning in every part of the flag. And by sharing this with you, we hope that you get just as excited about the patriotism as we are and as these gentlemen are. The presenters tonight, Tom Schemmel, as I mentioned before, is going to be the narrator, and the other gentlemen helping with the presentation are Tony Kaufman and Al Harris and Jerry Meyer. All four of these gentlemen are 4th degree Knights of Columbus, and their theme is patriotism. So now, let me introduce you to the American flag as we know it.
The Knights of Columbus is a men's Catholic family fraternal service organization. In the Knights, there are 4 degrees to membership, along with 4 guiding principles. The first 3 degrees are the basic degrees, and their 3 corresponding principles are charity, unity, and fraternity. The 3rd degree members belong to a group called a council. In addition, 4th degree members belong to a group called an assembly. Our assembly's name is Lieutenant General Timothy J. Maude Assembly, number 2740. Lieutenant General Maude was from Greenwood, Indiana, and was killed at the Pentagon on 9/11 when it was struck by a plane piloted by a terrorist. The guiding principle of the 4th degree is patriotism. It is in that spirit, the spirit of patriotism, that we are here today to share with you the history and the meaning of the flag of the United States. The British Union flag. Although the British flag underwent a number of changes in the 17th century, the St. George's Cross continued as the official national flag. For seagoing ships, however, the official banner was the Union flag, better known as the Union Jack, which combined England's St. George's Cross with Scotland's St. Andrew's Cross, a flag saltire en bleu. In 1707, the Union flag became Britain's national land flag. The pine tree, or the Bunker Hill flag. When in 1652 the colony of Massachusetts first established a mint, the General Court ordained that all pieces of money should bear on one side a tree, thus bringing into being the famous pine tree shilling. Later, this flag, which was one of the first to include the pine tree, was one of those carried by the American colonial troops who opposed the British regulars at the Battle of Bunker Hill in June 1775. The Continental flag. This flag was another one in use during this period. Colonel John Trumbull's painting, Death of War, shows the red Continental flag to be one used by the American forces at the Battle of Bunker Hill. The Gladstone, or rattlesnake flag. The rattlesnake theme was gaining increasing prestige with the colonists. The rattlesnake symbol appears again and again in early American flags. The rattlesnake, superimposed on a plain yellow banner, was known as the Gladstone flag. One writer of the time quaintly stated that as the rattlesnake's eyes exceeded in brightness that of any other animal, and that she had no eyelids, she might therefore be esteemed a symbol of vigilance, and that inasmuch as she never began an attack, nor when once engaged ever surrendered, she was therefore an emblem of the magnanimity and true courage. It was probably the deadly bite of the rattler, however, which was foremost in the minds of its designers, and in the threatening slogan, "Don't tread on me," added further significance to its design. The first Navy Jack. This flag is also known as the "Don't Tread on Me" flag. It was believed to have flown aboard the Continental Fleet's flagship, Alfred, in January of 1776. Commodore Eskin Hopkins raised this flag to signal his fleet to attack the enemy. Currently, the Secretary of Navy, Gordon England, has ordered all U.S. Navy ships to fly the first Navy Jack in place of the Union Jack for the duration of the global war on terrorism. In a memo to all ships and stations, England explained, "The temporary substitution of this Jack represents a historic reminder of the nation and the Navy's origin and will to preserve and triumph." It replaces the traditional U.S. Navy Jack, which is dark blue with 50 white stars arranged as a national flag. Before the reintroduction, the only U.S. Navy ship authorized to fly this flag was the aircraft carrier USS Kitty Hawk. The Grand Union flag. The Grand Union flag, sometimes called the First Navy Ensign and the Cambridge flag, among other designations, was a predecessor of the colonies, and it was hosted by General Washington in January 1776 at the Cambridge Camp, Prospect Hill, Massachusetts, as the standard of the Continental Army. It is also carried ashore by the Marines who made an expedition to the Bahamas in March of 1776. As the flag of the Revolution, it was used on many occasions before June 14, 1777, when the Continental Congress authorized the Stars and Stripes. The canton, with its crosses of St. George and St. Andrew, indicated our relationship with the mother country until the severance of those ties brought about its replacement with the white stars on the blue field. Washington later wrote that it was flown at Cambridge out of compliment to the United Colonies. The Betsy Ross flag. The first Stars and Stripes, whose birthday we observe on June 14th, was created on that date in 1777, when the Continental Congress resolved that the flag of the 13 United States be 13 stripes, alternate red and white, that the union of 13 stars, white in a field of blue, representing a new constellation. The first Army flag had the stars arranged in a circle, presumably based on the idea that no colony should take preference. The Star-Spangled Banner. This flag is also known as the 15 Stars and Stripes flag. Following an act of Congress on January 13, 1794, this was the flag of our country from 1795 until 1818. In addition of the 2 stars and 2 stripes came, with the admission of Vermont, March 4, 1791, and Kentucky, June 1, 1792, into the Union. This flag figured in many stirring episodes. It inspired Francis Scott Key to write the Star-Spangled Banner as it flew over Fort McHenry after a night of bombardment. It was the first flag hoisted over a fortress of the Old World when Lieutenant Presley N. O'Bannon of the Marine Corps and midshipman of the Navy raised it above the Tripolitan stronghold of Denair, Tripoli, on April 27th of 1805. It was our ensign in the Battle of Lake Erie and was flown by General Jackson at New Orleans. Fearing that too many stripes would spoil the true design of the flag, Congress passed a law on April 4th of 1818, returning the flag to its original design of 13 stripes and providing for a new star to be added to the blue field as additional states came into the Union. Thus, for nearly a quarter of a century, this flag, with its 15 stars and stripes, was the banner of our growing Union. The Bennington flag, originally believed to have been carried during the Revolution, this flag is now seen as having probably been made for the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence in 1826. Its design is typical of the exuberant artistic expressions found in the flags of the 19th century. The 48-star flag. On July 4th of 1912, the U.S. flag grew to 48 stars with the addition of New Mexico on January the 6th of 1912 and Arizona on February the 14th of 1912. Executive order of President Taft dated June 24, 1912, established the proportions of the flag and provided for arrangement of the stars in 6 horizontal rows of 8 each, with a single point of each star pointed upward. This flag was the official flag for 47 years. This flag served in World War I, World War II, the Korean War, and into Vietnam. This is the flag raised by the Marines on Mount Suribachi in Iwo Jima, an island in the South Pacific, where in just slightly over 1 month of fierce fighting, over 6,000 Marines and 21,000 Japanese soldiers gave their lives. It is the photo of this flag raising that inspired the Marine Corps National Memorial that stands near Arlington National Cemetery today, just outside Washington, D.C. The bicentennial flag was not an official flag of our country. It was designed to commemorate and celebrate over 200 years of independence, from 1776 to 1976. It was displayed in many places of business, schools, government buildings, and public displays of all sorts throughout the year of 1976. The 49 and 50 star flag. There was a 49 star flag that had the distinct honor of being the United States flag for a period of 1 year. It came into being in 1959 when Alaska achieved full statehood and became obsolete on July 1 of 1960 when the 50th star was added. Executive order of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, dated August the 21st of 1959, provided for the arrangements of the stars to be in 9 rows staggered vertically. This is the current flag of the United States. Hawaii was admitted as the 50th state on August the 21st of 1959. The 27th flag of the United States became the official flag on July 4th of 1960. Until another state is added to the Union, this is your flag. This is Old Glory. I am the flag of the United States of America. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over great institutions of learning. I stand guard with the greatest military power in the world. Look up and see me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident. I am arrogant. I am proud. And when I am flown with my banners, my head is a little higher and my colors a little truer. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshiped. I am loved. I am feared. I have fought in every battle of every war for more than 200 years. Gettysburg, Shiloh, Appomattox, San Juan Hill, the trenches of France, the Aragon Forest, Anzio, Rome, the beaches of Normandy, Guam, Okinawa, Japan, Korea, Vietnam, and the Persian Gulf, and a score places long forgotten by all except those who were there with me. I was there. I led my soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines. I followed them and I watched over them, and they loved me. I was on a small mountain on Iwo Jima. I was dirty, battle-worn, and tired, but my soldiers cheered me. I was proud. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled in the streets of countries that I have helped set free. Does it hurt? It does not hurt, for I am invisible. I have been soiled, torn, trampled in the streets of my own country, and when it is by those whom I have served with in battle, it hurts. But I shall overcome, for I am strong. I have slipped the bonds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon I stand watch over the uncharted new frontiers of space. I have been a silent witness to all of America's finest hours, but my finest hour comes when I am torn into strips to be used as bandages for my wounded comrades in the field of battle, when I fly at half-mast to honor my soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, and when I lie in the trembling hands of a grieving mother at the gravesite of her fallen son or daughter. I am proud. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wave. Dear God, long may I wave. Will you please now stand and recite the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There is a folding flag ceremony. The flag folding ceremony represents the same religious principles on which our country was originally founded. The portion of the flag denoting honor is the canton of blue containing the stars representing states our veterans served in uniform. The canton field of blue, dressed from left to right, is only inverted when it is draped as a pall on the casket of a veteran who has served his country honorably in uniform. In the evening of the Armed Forces of the United States, at a ceremony of retreat, after taps has been sounded, which is at sunset, the flag is lowered and folded in a triangle form and kept under watch throughout the night as a tribute to our nation's honored dead. The next morning, it is brought out at a ceremony of revelry, which is at precisely 0800 hours, and run aloft as a symbol of our belief in the resurrection of the body. The first fold of our flag is a symbol of life. The second fold is a symbol of our belief in eternal life. The third fold is made in honor and remembrance of the veteran departing our ranks who gave a portion of life for the defense of our country and to attain peace throughout the world, not to have died in vain, and shall never be forgotten. The fourth fold represents our weaker nature For as American citizens, trusting in God, it is to Him we turn in times of peace as well as times of war for His divine guidance. The fifth fold is a tribute to our country, for in the words of immortal Stephen Decanter, our country, in dealing with other countries, may she always be right, but it is still our country, right or wrong. The sixth fold is where our hearts lie, and it is with our heart that we pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The seventh fold is a tribute to our armed forces, for it is through these same armed forces that we protect our country and our flag against all enemies, whether they are found within or without the boundaries of our republic. The eighth fold is a tribute to the one who entered into the valley of the shadow of death, that we may see the light of day, and this fold is made to honor Mother, for whom it flies on Mother's Day. The ninth fold is a tribute to our womanhood, for it has been through their faith, their love, loyalty, and devotion that the characters of the men that have made this country great have been molded. The 10th fold is a tribute to Father, for He too has given of His sons for the defense of our country since it was first born. We fold the stripes toward the stars, for whereas the stripes represent the 13 original colonies that founded our republic, they are now embodied in the 50 sovereign states represented by the stars, so that the stars cover the stripes. The 11th fold, in the eyes of Hebrew citizens, represents the lower portion of the seal of King David and King Solomon, and glorifies in their eyes the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. The 12th fold, in the eyes of the Christian citizen, represents an emblem of eternity and glorifies in their eyes God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. When the flag is completely folded, the stars are uppermost, which reminds us of our national motto, "In God we trust." After the flag is completely folded and tucked in, it takes on the appearance of a cocked hat, ever reminding us of the soldiers who served under General George Washington and the sailors and Marines who served under Captain John Paul Jones. And they, followed by their comrades and shipmates in the armed forces of the United States, have preserved for us the rights, privileges, and freedoms that we enjoy today. We thank you for your attention.